everybody, I'm Christopher from GizChina Germany, today with the Doogee F1 Turbo Mini, which is actually the first 64-bit LTE smartphone made by Doogee. They took quite some time for it, but it seems to be a pretty promising device, especially for those of you not into phablets or 5-inch phones. The specs of this phone are a Mediatek MT6732 quad-core 64-bit SoC clocked at 1.3 GHz, 1 GB of RAM, 8 GB of internal memory, LTE support with FDD-LTE and all important frequencies supported. We have a 8-megapixel rear camera and a 5-megapixel front camera, a 2000 mAh battery, and currently this phone is running on Android 4.4.4 KitKat, but a Lollipop update will follow pretty soon. And the display of this phone actually is very small, it's only a 4.5-inch unit, but the resolution is small as well, at just 960 by 540 pixels. So before we have a closer look at the phone, let's first have a look at the packaging. And I told you before, I'm pretty much impressed by Doogee packagings in general, especially in the low-cost area. Doogee phones have the most impressive packaging. It's very professional, very nice looking. You definitely don't notice that this is a phone going over the counter at 110 bucks at the moment. So as you can see, pretty nice design, some specs on the rear, a certificate that this is a genuine Doogee device is applied as well. You can rub off one code here and check on the Doogee website if this is a real device made by Doogee. And inside this packaging we find this frame which contains the phone when you open it for the first time. Accessories are one screen protector with a cleaning cloth inside. We have one quick start guide with which is multi-language actually. Below this foil the rest of the accessories are placed, which are one Doogee charger with 1 ampere and a German plug in my case, and the usual headphones that come with Doogee phones, which sound pretty crappy but are okay for a hands-free solution or something. And we of course also have a micro USB cable. Now design-wise, the Doogee F1 does look very similar to the Doogee 2014, which has been launched by Doogee in early 2014. And actually was the start of their success internationally. Now Doogee themselves don't claim this to be the successor of the Doogee 2014, but I consider it as the successor. It's available in different colors. I have the black color here. As you can see, we have a few sensors here on top. We have a phone call receiver, a front camera, and touch buttons below the screen, which aren't back illuminated. And the voice microphone is also below the screen. The sides are covered by metal plates, but this only applies to the left and right side. The upper and lower side is plated with plastic. We have some nice little screws here. That's basically the same design element as with the Doogee 2014. As you can see, we have a volume rocker here on the left side, which is made from metal. On the lower side we have nothing. On the right side we find the on-off switch, and on the upper side we find the micro USB OTG port and 3.5mm headphone jack. Now the rear features a curved back cover with some dots on it, like with the Doogee 2014 again. But the rear camera does look different. It's not inside a metal frame anymore. It has been placed on the outer edges here along with the LCD flash. And on the bottom we find a Doogee logo and the opening for the media speaker. The back cover can be removed of course, but this is going very hard. I have to pull extremely hard here. I don't know how often this back cover survives that, but now it's actually getting a little easier with time. For the first time I almost couldn't get this one off. And here you see the micro SD slot, a micro SIM slot, a normal sized SIM slot, so we have dual SIM going on here, the 2000 mAh BAK battery, and the media speaker of the phone, and here you see the vibrator of the phone looking outside the body a little. So let's close that again and have a closer look at the screen. Now for the screen you shouldn't expect that much when it comes to a 64-bit phone and that cheap. It's pretty small, so the pixel density is not that bad at QHD resolution with the small Q, so 960 by 540. but it's not a high-end screen, obviously. Colors look okay, but not overly realistic. Contrast is okay, but not overly good. Viewing angles, pretty okay actually, but pixels are visible. And well, it just isn't a perfect screen, but it's okay for a phone in this price range. Brightness is pretty good, so you can actually see stuff when being outside. So that's definitely a plus. What I noticed though is that the automatic brightness control isn't quite the best. It tends to flicker around in darker environments, so you better control that yourself. All in all, the screen is okay. Touch panel is pretty good, very sensitive, no need for much pressure, I like that. I would call that an average screen. Now for the software, Doogee is improving every single time with phones. They're really paying attention to software part. And let me just show you, they've reached a pretty high level here. So first of all, I show you that we have HotKnot supported here, which is the case with pretty much all new Mediatek phones these days. That's pretty useful. It's similar to NFC, but it's working not through an antenna, but through the phone's digitizer. You're holding them together, and then they transfer connection information and establish an ad hoc Wi-Fi connection between the phones, and then you can transfer files, data links, and so on for the phones. That's pretty useful. Another pretty unique thing with Chinese phones is a whistle remote we have going on here. Now this is not an all new idea, but it's pretty seldom happening on Chinese phones. If you enable this, you can borrow the phone to someone else and he won't be able to access all your information. This has not been thought to the end, however, because you can still access information and pictures and so on through other applications. So it's not totally blocked, but it's a good start, and I hope they will develop this feature further in the future. So let's look further. Next feature we have is system gestures. As you can see, we have three options here: 3-finger screenshot, 2-finger volume, and double tap to lock screen. So if you double tap, you will be able to lock the screen if this is enabled. We also have an option to swipe 2 fingers from the right to the left and reverse order to control volume of the system. And we also can do a screenshot by swiping 3 fingers down from the top to the bottom of the screen. Next thing we have is power saving mode. And the heart of this is actually the smart saving mode. So you can choose between 10%, 20% or 13% of remaining charge. And once you've hit this charging level of the battery, the phone will enable a power saving mode where it disables all the unimportant stuff that is eating up energy. And this actually will extend the battery life quite a bit, making you reachable for a long time even though the battery charge is low. I've used that and it's working just fine. Next feature we have is smart wake up, and that's actually the classic off screen gesture. So you can do double tap to wake, slide up to unlock, draw a C on the screen to open up the phone call applications, all that stuff. Let me show you that. If I double tap on the deactivated phone, it will turn on again and vibrate. So I notice if I trigger that feature accidentally in the pocket or something, but that's pretty much impossible anyway, as when I cover the sensor, the gestures don't work anymore. It's supposed that they don't work anymore, but sometimes they do, but actually in my pocket it never happened to me that I accidentally triggered this feature. So who cares? Another thing we have here is smart gestures, and that's actually kind of this swipe hand over the screen to do something, swipe through the launcher or gallery. It's actually not working very well. It's just working in one direction, and it also doesn't recognize your hand if you do so. You really have to swipe with your finger above the sensor, which doesn't make any sense at all. So I disabled this feature. It's pretty much unusable. Other stuff we have in the OS are some pre-installed apps, which are an app lock feature. You can set up some code and lock apps with that, so the code will be prompted when you try to open the app, so no one else who doesn't know the code can open that app. Else we have Go Keyboard pre-installed, which you don't have to use, but you can if you like it. Another thing we have pre-installed is a special camera application. Can't find it right now. Where I have it here, camera box. Now this is actually a little fun camera application. It has a few more modes than the stock Mediatek application. For example, you have some age judge feature here, which enables you to judge the age of the person visible on the picture. This is working surprisingly well. I really like that. And you also have a face beautify mode and such stuff. Well, it's a little strange application, but I somehow like it. There's some nice features here. So that's definitely a nice addition to the stock camera application. As far as performance goes, Doogee really did a good job with this operating system on here. There are no significant bugs or any significant lags. It's really snappy and fluid. I really like the OS here. The only bug I've noticed, but that's not Doogee's fault, that's the case with every current MT6732 phone and also MT6752 phones, is that some applications don't work properly, and this includes Dead Trigger 2, which is my favorite game, unfortunately, and also Re-Racing 3, which has some audio playback issues, but everything else is working just fine. Again, I'm really impressed with the OS. So while operating system is quite okay, unfortunately media playback isn't. The internal media speaker is crap. Let's tell it right out. It doesn't sound really good, very flat, no basses. It's not very loud too, so you don't have much fun going on with this one, but attaching headphones actually improves that a lot. The new Mediatek SoCs have a pretty good audio chip included, and I really like the audio quality on here, but it could be a little more balanced in my opinion. The trebles sometimes die a little for some tracks. It's not always the case, but it could be a little more balanced. It's not high-end, but it's perfectly usable and good for some music enjoyment for good headphones. That's without any doubt. What did impress me as well is the reception quality of this handset. As you probably know, in this room I often have hard times getting proper 3G receptions. With a lot of devices I don't get any 3G reception at all, and as you can see we have 2 3G bars, sometimes it's even 3 3G bars, so that's pretty impressive. And also the Wi-Fi quality is pretty good. I'm one wall in between the router and me right now, and I have 3 Wi-Fi bars, so that's not bad at all. Sometimes it says 4 Wi-Fi bars. I don't know why it's a little worse than other times today, but it's pretty good in general. And also voice quality during phone calls is very good with this handset. GPS unfortunately isn't that good. It's very seldom that you reach accuracies below 4 meters, and actually it takes a long time to get a fix because the antenna inside of there is shit. Now the new Mediatek SoCs have a pretty good GPS stack, even with GizChina support and all that stuff, but you still need a good antenna to make use of that. With the old Mediatek SoCs, this phone probably wouldn't get any GPS signal at all, so that's definitely an improvement going on here, but Doogee really screwed up with that GPS antenna. It's usable for basic navigation tasks, but as soon as reception conditions get worse, you might have trouble getting a proper GPS fix with this one. What did also disappoint me is the camera. Doogee claims it to be an 8 megapixel camera, but that's obviously not true. We have an interpolated sensor going on here, probably 6 megapixels or something. Pictures aren't anything good. They are good for quick snapshots, but nothing more. Colors are not really realistic. The camera has huge issues with direct sunlight. Also, pictures aren't getting very sharp, so that's not really a good camera. The front camera surprisingly is quite okay. You even can do some selfies with it if you don't want to have a perfect image quality, but it's suitable for selfies, definitely. Now the battery inside this phone is even more impressive than anything else. Going after the capacity alone, you wouldn't believe that this one reached quite a good battery life, as this one only has 2000 milliamps, which in combination with the insanely powerful SoC inside of there sounds like a bad joke, but actually the new Mediatek SoCs are very, very power saving, and actually the battery life is much longer than with the Doogee 2014, which had a 1800 milliamps battery or something, and the MT6732 SoC. I myself getting over the day easily, and that's even with playing some games, so I don't have to pay much attention to my energy consumption. I did a review yesterday, you can see where it's going down very fast here. Then didn't use the phone anymore, since then it's just laying around the whole day and the night. And as you can see, battery not going down very much, and here you see it's going down again where I started this English review. So we are at 75% now. This phone lasts ages. It's pretty good, and really did surprise me. What did surprise me, but in a bad way, is the charging time of the battery. At 2000 milliamps, you would expect this phone to charge within 1 or maximum of 2 hours, but actually that's not the case, because the phone only draws 1.7 amperes maximum out of the charger, no matter which charger you use. That's really annoying. It can take up to 4 hours to charge this battery, which really is a bad joke in my opinion. That's something you probably have been used to years ago, but not today. In the age of fast charging, this is absolutely not acceptable. So my final conclusion about the Doogee F1. It definitely is a solid phone for those of you looking after a very small phone with a sub 5-inch screen, because it offers a lot of performance and a very low price, and LTE is supported with all imported frequencies. Reception quality is pretty good except for GPS, so that's probably a very good choice for you if you have a low budget and need a small phone with lots of processing power. But it's not a perfect phone. It definitely has some flaws. Doogee maybe can do something with the software about them, but all in all, it's by far not a perfect phone. So in the end, it's up to you if you can live with that, if you need such a device, or if you want to go with something better at a little higher price. So thanks for watching this review. I hope it was helpful for you. If it was, I would appreciate a thumbs up, maybe in a comment, and I would also like if you subscribe to the YouTube channel here. If you like in general what we are doing at GizChina Germany, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Google+. I say bye now, and you will receive a little performance demo of this phone. Have fun, bye bye.